Well, welcome to week 7 of the NFL and week 6. I'm wearing Giants in honor of Remy's Giants win this week. It was a big win, but it wasn't a great win. I didn't wasn't a dominating win. I don't think. There was some. Let's see, who did they beat Baltimore 24-20, and it just they weren't wasn't a strong win. I hope she comes on to discuss the Giants games, and then we have our first appearance this week for this season from our Arizona representative, um, who they are. To me, they've been very disappointing, and we'll get his take on it, Tim's take. So let's bring on Tim while we here, and we have Remy here, and we will start right away. We'll get into things. Hello, Tim, and hello, Remy. How
Hi.
are you? So you missed beginning. I'm wearing the Giants in honor of their
5-1 record.
win, but I don't know how good they look. But let me go to Tim. Tim's making his first appearance here. How are you, Tim? It's been a while.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had some acting gigs and things going on.
Good
Uh,
thing. I
Cardinal,
want to see you on stage.
Cardinal Nation is really in a shambles right now. There are calls to fire Cliff Kingsbury. Uh, Kyler Murray is a good example of you should have put the study clause in when you signed the contract because he has just been terrible. I mean,
I thought he was going to have a great season. I'm shocked at what's going on over there.
it's like a rookie all over again. He seems ball placement and everything else just seems terrible.
So
And
you think it's him and not the coaching, right?
uh, I think it's a combination of both. Kingsbury's teams have always been sloppy in terms of penalties. You know, a lot of motion and holding and things like that that
Uh-huh.
show bad coaching discipline. And they've been able to, when they had D Hop, especially, and if he comes back, they could overcome that to a certain degree by
Right.
kind of Kyler's street football. But I think it's caught up to him. And the other thing is, I think they've figured him out. You know, if you keep him in the pocket and don't let him get outside, he's not that great a quarterback. He can't do reads all that well.
Yeah, it's interesting because I thought he was just going to. Who do they got this week? They got Arizona has got. They don't have a bye week, right?
Um,
They're playing Thursday against New Orleans. So I don't know. New Orleans. I think I went with New Orleans. I
yeah,
not a big fan of theirs, but what do you
yeah.
think? What's your take on this one?
They, I think New Orleans, despite inconsistent quarterbacking, uh, they just overall have more talent. One of the things that Michael Bidwell, the owner of the Cardinals, did was he signed Kingsbury, Steve Keim, and Kyler to all big long-term contracts. So this team is hosed for a long time unless he sucks it up and pays
That's the
them.
problem with these contracts. They get locked in. They're so high, and they get locked into these guys, and then they can't trade them, and they can't get a new guy, and
Yeah, I
you
don't know
know,
what's going to happen. And Keim has been a disaster on drafts. He's I forget how many. I mean, he's drafted 3 or 4 guys that are literally out of football. They're not even playing arena football, which is really
is that the general manager?
yeah. Steve Keim.
How you know how long he's been there?
Oh, he's been there 7, 8 years. His
Uh,
his biggest notoriety was getting arrested for DUI. So it's,
and you wonder why guys like that keep jobs.
yeah,
You just
really, it's I mean, it's a double standard. I mean, Deshaun Watson goes to a massage parlor. I'm not saying what he did was right, but Robert Kraft does the same thing, and he gets elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
right,
So
right.
there was a double standard. There.
And wait, did Robert Kraft get married this week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Brady went to his wedding instead of that. That's been the big flap that Brady went to his wedding and didn't work out with the team. So
I, who maybe he was looking for a new wife.
yeah, that would be the place to shop.
Right, and you think that was a true love marriage or what? What is she like? He's like 97 and he's 12. She's 12,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm sure she loves him just for what he is. Yeah, yeah,
Right, like every athlete's wife loves
yeah.
them for what they are.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. Cheating, lying. Right, right. So, all right. So are you going against your Cardinals this week? Not that you're betting, but I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. I would have to because they're kind of in a shambles right now. The only thing that would save them is if D Hop comes in and just has some outrageous game, like just lifts the whole thing. But he hasn't
Right,
played in 4 weeks, so I kind of doubt that's going to happen.
Is
I
he
see
back
right.
this week?
them.
Is he back this week?
Yeah, yeah, he will play in this game, so that's a plus.
What position is he at? What position is he at?
Wide receiver.
Uh, it's important to have a guy that could beat the defense and uh, but he's got to get hit. Like Justin Fields threw that bomb. That was a shock that the guy. It was like right on target in his game. Remember that one? I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah,
But Justin Fields. So
he looks great from time to time. It's just
time to time, it's just if you don't have time to throw, and Chicago's just a bad team.
yeah.
They're a bad team. So Remy, the Giants. Now, were you impressed by them, or what was your feeling on against Baltimore?
Yeah, they beat Baltimore and Lamar Jackson.
I
Of
know,
course,
but
I'm impressed with them. And
Baltimore wasn't like they weren't impressive, and like Baltimore's defense was pretty bad, I thought, and Barkley didn't show up for the first half, but it seems that
both defenses
what?
were in charge because they weren't scoring points. It was a defensive game, and I think that's the thing. It was the offenses weren't doing anything. Like you said, Barkley wasn't doing anything at the beginning, and
Right.
But Dayball, if he keeps you in there to the fourth quarter, we're gonna win those games because he just keeps you in.
Right.
And then that's what we did, and our defense wore down Lamar to make one terrible interception, and they could have won that game. They probably should have won that game. We're not that team yet, but it's nice to be 5-1 and in second place above Dallas. I know that
Oh
much.
yeah.
Maybe we should even have beat Dallas. We should be undefeated right up there with Philly.
Right.
But no one's going to beat Philadelphia. They have all the pieces.
Oh, Philadelphia's tough.
I like what Dayball's doing with Daniel Jones. People still don't believe in him. But I see a little hints of Josh Allen in Daniel just because that's what Dayball did with Josh Allen. Josh Allen, when Dayball got a hold of him, only would complete 50% of his passes.
Yeah.
Right.
And now that guy, if he's that guy that that's on your team, you don't care if you're down by 10 or 12 or 14 in the fourth quarter. He can bring you back. Like, I've never seen anything like it. It's just kind of like,
Who Josh Allen?
yeah, like there's no fear if he's your quarterback. Like, and even if they do lose, it's like they could have won. Like,
I thought Mahomes played awful. I don't know what's going on with him, but
they're 4-2. They're 4-2.
yeah, but they should have won that game. They had that game. They shouldn't have lost to Buffalo. I just thought that they had it, and I don't know. They were the killer in my pool. So
I feel like this week it was all defense. A lot of there was not a lot of points being scored. This week was the week of defenses. Defenses just showed up and were shutting everybody down. Even the Dallas, Philly's been scoring 40 plus points a game.
Yeah, something like that.
We were shutting him down too. Like, the defenses were just showing up. So I don't know.
Who the Giants got this week? They're playing at Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Jacksonville, they got no defense, but I'm afraid. I don't know if the Giants could hold Jacksonville. I think because I really don't think Giants have a great offense. I think Baltimore just really didn't play
Well, we
that
don't have
well.
our
And
top receiver. Sterling Shepard's out. Tony's not back. Gallup's not in.
who
Like
who
the
Giants?
Giants, we're
Yeah.
missing
Right?
like all of our receivers.
Are they coming back or no?
Even health?
Sterling Shepard's out for the season.
Yeah, they're not that good.
What was that, Tim?
They're even when they're healthy, the quality of receivers on the Giants is not that great.
That Tony kid was looking promising.
Yeah, he actually might fill in as a first-round draft pick, but they're not. And you got to hand it to Dable. I think he's getting that team to play way above their talent level.
You talking about the Jaguars?
Giants.
Yeah. Oh, uh-huh.
And
I didn't have to believe this could be a game we lose because,
yeah,
I mean, Jacksonville could seriously be like 4-2 or 5-1. They've lost games that they were leading, games that they should. I mean,
right. I think they got slammed in one game, but I didn't see this game, but I know they were winning in this game, and they probably should have won. I don't know what they did to lose. I don't know. Did anyone see it?
I think they've blown a couple of leads. They've had a couple.
Yes.
I've heard they've blown leads.
So that's the defense. I wonder what I got to look at their rushing defense.
Well, they didn't have Taylor either. This is the first time Taylor's ever missed a game since high school. So they didn't have the running game. So it was all Brian just passing, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So who do you're thinking? You think there could be an upset with the Jaguars taking it, or you're strong on the Giants this week?
I'm never strong on the Giants right now. Like you said, we don't have a lot of offense, but I'm just happy to
It's
be
hard to be strong. It's hard to be strong on the Giants, like you want to be, but it just I just think if they play a good team, they're not going to beat a good team. I don't think they've played a good team yet.
We just beat two good teams. We beat Green Bay and we beat Baltimore.
I don't think Green Bay's that good. I think Green Bay can't score, and I think they scored a lot on the Giants.
We didn't know that when the Giants met them. When the Giants met them, they were 3-1.
Right, but I think they beat Tampa Bay like 13-7 or something, so they didn't really score. And I think they won the next game. Oh, you know who surprised me? This New England was right.
Yeah,
I did not expect that. They destroyed Cleveland.
Yep.
That was. I mean, it wasn't even close. Like they destroyed them, and Cleveland is they are just a mess. Tim, did you watch that at all, or you have a take on Cleveland?
Yeah, and who would believe Bailey Zappi out of northwestern Kentucky? They're saying now it's Zappi hour, and this guy is playing lights out. It's amazing how good he's playing, to the point where Matt may not get his job back.
Well, Mac isn't doing that great, so this guy. I mean, it's not like a Dak Prescott thing where you got your really your main guy,
right?
So, this guy who's New England got this week? Are they buying or
they must have a bye? I think
they must have a bye this week. Oh, I wonder. If that is Mac Jones.
They're playing Chicago Monday night.
Oh,
they are. Oh, okay.
That's right.
All right. So that one, I think that New England, they keep Zappi in there, and I think they destroy Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean,
I see nothing good for the Bears.
No, they're. What did they do this week? Total
He has no O-line. He's just getting pummeled every week.
But I wouldn't do the typical thing that Chicago and New York franchises do. I wouldn't fire Matt Uberfels or whatever his name is, because I think he's not a bad coach. I just think they have crappy personnel.
I was watching the Sunday night game. Who was the Sunday night game? That was
Dallas and Philly.
Yeah.
Dallas and Philly. And I'm watching it, and they had a lot of end zone shots. I like the end zone shots they had. Follow like the sky cam for the offense. And I'm looking and I'm thinking a quarterback. I just wonder if the back of his mind, especially if his line is not strong, if he's always thinking he's going to get hit, because those guys are monsters.
Yeah.
Those guys are like 6'5", 300 pounds, and you got to throw that ball quick. It's like, I just wonder what's going on in the quarterback's mind, knowing that he's only got 3 seconds or he could be hammered. This is like every play of the game. So it'll be interesting to get the take of a quarterback's. Who I got to ask? I got to ask. Tim, are you a college fan?
Yeah, to some degree. Yeah.
Oh, so I sat next to Mark Richt on the plane. You know him? Georgia coach.
Okay, yeah.
And I want to text him. I don't know. He doesn't really text. He's got Parkinson's disease, so maybe I call him. I want to ask him what he thinks like a quarterback, thinks about. And I wonder if he was a quarterback. Because I just, when you look at it from that angle, that wide, that backwards, the end zone angle, you're seeing everybody. And like all you're seeing your guys, but like 11 enemies that are giants that are looking for you. Let's say it's a blitz or something. You don't know. And, I wonder how, after every game, I wonder how many Motrin they take.
Especially,
they got to. What?
You look at like last year, you look at Daniel Jones and you look at Taylor Lawrence, and they were almost getting hit after the snap. They were just literally running for their lives. And so to say they're making bad decisions or they're thrown into crowds, it's like when you're literally running for your life without the scheme, it's bad. Russell Wilson, the scheme that they have for him is terrible. They're trying to make him Aaron Rodgers, and it's
not Aaron. Yeah, and that coach is going to lose his job. Nothing he's doing. He's not.
Yeah, and then I'm looking and I'm thinking, oh, why didn't he throw to this guy's running? He throws it out of bounds. They throw the ball away, but this guy's open. But again, we're not seeing it. These guys in front of him, sometimes they block a pass. All of a sudden, the guy's handed the defender. They're looking at like a wall of 6'5" guys. So we don't really know what they see. Supposedly in the future, they're thinking about putting cameras, and I guess when they get small enough, inside helmets of players, and you could actually like click on and watch what a player sees and sees what a player sees.
No.
What?
That's going to be distracting, and that could be dangerous. What if it snaps and smacks them in the head?
Oh, I'm sure it would be in like a helmet where it would be so protected that. But they'll do anything to get viewership. I mean, they don't care about the players. It's like if they really cared about. What?
The viewership of the NFL is doing just fine. These owners are just, they're fine.
Oh no, but the way with the money that they keep paying, they have to keep raising the rights fees, and in order to raise the rights fees, they're going to have to do like all of a sudden you're going to see like a soccer jersey where they're going to have logos all over the jerseys because they got to pay for this stuff. They can only get. What was that?
Like NASCAR.
Yeah, I mean, look, even hockey's got it. Everybody's got it. Baseball's got it. They all got logos on them, and the more money they make, the more money they're going to need to pay them. So you can't keep raising ticket prices. You raise rights fees, and and these networks are ready to pay them these rights fees.
Well,
so.
I think the 17 games is a mistake, and I think you're seeing it now with the plethora of injuries, especially Achilles. It seems like everybody's getting Achilles right and left.
Maybe they'll, you would think that maybe they would look into it, but again, the money is the main factor. So
you're right.
It sucks too because baseball should be over And as a Yankees fan, we've had 2 games delayed. So they had to play today when they should have been done, and then they got to go straight to Houston and play.
That's ridiculous. I used to be on that TV crew that did the game tonight, and the TBS crew, and for the television crew. So what happens is in Houston they have called a go-ahead crew, and they set up the trucks and they get everything going, and then the you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. They won't take a morning flight because they have to be there. They probably chartered an airplane, and after the game, they went right to the airport, like LaGuardia or something, and chartered out and flew to Houston. And they're getting there like at, who knows, 2 in the morning or something, and then they got to wake up and go to work and set up the game and do all your pre-production and do a show. And then the Yankees too. They probably left tonight. And how fair is it for them to play? I mean, it's like they may not even be able to catch up physically.
Yeah.
Because once you're behind, you're behind. It's hard to get that rest. So they're going to play.
Yeah, what didn't make sense was everybody played on Tuesday, and then they gave the American League the next day off and let the National League play. And I'm like, why did you no, it just screwed everything up because the Yankees should have played the very next day because you have your 2 games there. Then you take a drive, 2 games there, and then you come home. I think that was what screwed it up too. It's like, why is the American League, why are all 4 teams playing on Tuesday and then the American League gets Wednesday off and the National League gets to work, and then so they could have games every day? And it's like, okay, you wanted games every day, but then the Yankees got rained out 2 of those days.
Right.
You just threw the whole thing out of whack. Right. Where it's like, just play, or you should have done 2 games Tuesday, 2 games Wednesday.
Right. Well, they do it for the television. They get exclusives. But I was hoping it'd be another rain out because that would totally screw up the schedule. That, I was really hoping that would happen because then
you'd have the World Series by now. Now you're having the World Series in November eventually one day, and you can't because lots of teams that are good are on the East Coast.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So they're adding these wild card games not because they want to, but they need to pay for them. They don't have the money, so in order to pay the rights fees, they need to have extra games to pay for the advertising, to pay the rights fees. So the baseball is not just making decisions but without television. Without television, there's no sports. So I'm giving you like an inside view of it. They need the money to do it. So that's why they do it. It's like, it's a little fair. They give other teams opportunities, but it's also the money involved. It's a lot of money involved. And they
were thinking about playing the game at 9:00 last night, and everybody's like, "What are you talking about? There's fans that want to watch it. No one's going to stay up till midnight, 1 a.m. Parents are going to let their kids do that to watch their team win."
Right.
Decided to happen this afternoon, but still, it was like.
Right. Well, and another thing that comes into play is they try to keep, if there's a possibility of playing, they try to play it because, again, they got TV crews that they're paying to be out there. So, if they have to, they're already paying for a rain day. They got to pay them the truck rentals that they have, the equipment rentals. Right. That could be like $50,000 to $100,000 minimum.
Yeah, if they would have had a game at 9:00 last night, no one would have been at it.
No, but they already got the sales, the ad sales, so they already got the revenue, so they don't care. It's the ratings wouldn't be high, but a lot of people would be up. Especially on the West Coast would watch it, so they'd have it up in a lot of things. But money. What?
And if the Yankees don't beat Astros, no one's going to watch an Astros Phillies or an Astros San Diego.
Could you imagine if the Yankees lost? If the Yankees lost, who's watching any of this?
Yeah, the Yankees is the big team in there now, and everybody says they're going to lose to the Astros, and everybody still thinks the Astros are cheaters, so no one wants to watch them win except for Texas, and so no one's going to watch that World Series.
No, and the thing is, they swept their series, so they've been resting. Yankees are.
That could be a good thing for us.
Well, it could
But
be. You just wonder if the Yankees have adrenaline going. But I don't even know if they'll probably go. They'll sleep. They'll relax. The Yankees, and they'll probably show up at the ballpark like 4 o'clock and early. Like the teams
well,
early,
they're
and
they're mad because they got cheated out of the 2017 World Series because they
Yeah.
cheated. So they're there for revenge, and I know they're mad. So we'll see what happens.
well, how many players? But how many players on the Yankees were in that on that team?
Almost all
You
of them
know?
still. I mean,
Oh, really?
Judge, like half of them, yeah.
You know what I
So
thought was going to be interesting if because Judge was, I guess he was on deck for the bottom of the ninth, right? So Houston made a little rally, and I was thinking, oh, it would be pretty cool if Houston ties it up and Judge comes up and he's the home run tiebreaker and wins the game that way. I thought that would have been a cool, to top off his season that he's having. He's like the real Yankee. He's been with the Yankees. He's like the Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
Not that he's Mickey Mantle, but he's like that style. He's like, I think he's only with the Yankees, right?
yeah, I mean, let's hope he stays there. They're not giving him what he wants, and then he said, I'll bet on myself," and he proved that he's still.
They don't
he's
want to
worth-
pay him. They don't want to pay him the money.
They don't. He wants more year. It's something about the years, but I'm like, you just bought a freaking soccer team for $1 bazillion. You've got the money.
Oh, he did.
No, the
Who did?
Yankees. The Yankees.
They bought a soccer team.
Yeah, they bought a team. They bought some other team now. I think it's a soccer team. I forget, but
Right.
for a lot of money. So they have the money to pay the guy. Just pay him. Get it over with.
Yeah, pay him. Go long term. The guy doesn't really. I mean, I think he got hurt one season, but I mean, he's a long term player. He's ready to probably sign for his career. He'll like finish his career there.
I know a lot of fans die-hard Yankee fans that if they don't sign Judge, some of them said, I might not ever watch another Yankee game. And these guys are like 50 years old that have bleed pinstripes. And I'm like, wow, that's saying it all. I mean, he actually has the home run record, and not just in the American League, in my eyes, in the whole league.
Steroid free too, which is
he's been that big since he came up.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always
he's a big dude.
He's 6'7". Like he could play football, basketball.
These guys are huge, and pitchers are huge. Like pro athletes are they're huge. It doesn't even matter.
Have you seen the Nolan Ryan documentary?
No, I saw it, but I didn't watch it. What about?
It's really good. It's really great.
Is it?
Yeah, it's fascinating.
I'll have to watch that because I lived in Texas when he was with the Rangers for a long time. I got to see him pitch the no hitter at I think 42 or whatever. It's still a record for oldest guy to pitch a no hitter.
Well, it's funny because they show, and I didn't know this happened because I was a little younger. When he pitched that one no hitter, no one was in the stands, and then by the 7th inning, like people were talking on the radio, he's got a no, and all of a sudden at the end of the game, the stadium was full.
Oh, really? Like they showed up at the game?
Like he's got a no going into the 6th, 7th inning, and people just started showing up at the game. So when he threw it, it was a full packed stadium when he threw that last final pitch.
Wow, that had to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I was kind of.
I want to watch that. It probably went all 20.
And was a really nice guy. Like
married his junior high school. Like him and his wife known each other since the 4th grade.
Yeah, a friend of a friend.
Cool.
A friend of a friend. The guy that I worked with used to coach girls softball, and one of his kids, his daughter, was there, and he said, I want to come to one of your games, but I can't. I'm not going to tell you which one, because if I do, it becomes all about me, and people, I'll spend the whole time signing autographs and everything else, and I want my kid to have sort of a normal life. So he was just a really nice guy like that. He was just like somebody that
there's some good guys. There's some good guys.
One of the things that I thought was really good was he talked about being when he finally retired, and you see it now with Brady. You're seeing it, I think, with Aaron Rodgers this year. He said it's not that you can't perform anymore, but he said it's your body being able to come back after you pitch. He said when you're in your when you're in your 20s, you can go out and party and everything else. That's the next rotation. When you're in your 40s, it kills. You have
that 3 or 4 day rest isn't enough.
And if you remember, like Joe Montana when he played for Kansas City, was like, he said you're always pulling a muscle or doing something because your body just can't recover that fast as you get older. And I think you're seeing that now with Brady and with Rodgers. They just, it's great to say you can play till you're 40, but realistically,
no. With Rodgers, it's not that. With Rodgers, he doesn't have his Devontae, and now he doesn't have Cobb, and he's got these young guys. And you heard him the other day. I don't know if you saw his thing. They're like, "What's going on?" He goes, "We need to make it simpler."
Yeah.
Like basically saying what they're doing is too complicated. He's smart. He gets it. He loves it. But these guys aren't as smart as he is. He's freaking
They're too
smart.
young. And they're
too young, they're not smart enough, and there's too many plays they have to remember, and they're missing their marks, and they're dropping balls. And I even think with him losing with Scantling, if he wouldn't have left, he that would be his target.
Yeah,
but these guys, they're not making their marks, so he's got nothing. Like him coming back was, I think, I got Devontae, and then Devontae leaving, I think. If he knew Devontae was leaving, I don't know that he would have signed back with the Packers.
Or get somebody who is Allen Robinson, or get somebody who was.
And they didn't do it right in the first round of the draft pick. They didn't go after a wide receiver. Like they have not given him wide receivers.
Well, they've got guys that are bad, but they came from 2A schools like South Dakota State and all that stuff.
Yeah, but he's for his whole life. It's like you need receivers. You were one play away from going to the Super Bowl, but you didn't have the receivers, and then you draft a quarterback, and then the next year.
Yeah, my point is, Remy, you can draft a guy out of Alabama or Georgia. George Pickens is a good example, and you can almost plug and play those guys because they came from a 1A program. They came from a pro set. But when you draft guys out of UNLV or South Dakota State, those offenses aren't that complicated. So it's going to take them a while to get into, pro style. They'll get there, but it's not going to happen overnight.
Well, that's what Roger's saying. If we do 200,
like with Pittsburgh, he looks great out of the box, because you can put him in there. And they, like you said, they didn't draft one of those type guys. The guy the Redskins drafted out of Penn State, he would have been great. But they're all.
It'd be so frustrating for a guy like in that position, a Rodgers or a Brady, that all of a sudden he just doesn't have anyone to throw to.
Brady's the same way. He has no offense.
Yeah.
He doesn't have an offense either.
It's like Kobe in his final years when his team was there was nobody, and it was just not enjoyable for him to play anymore.
Yeah.
When it becomes not enjoyable, you want to walk away. And I wonder if Tom Brady's regretting his decision to stay now, to stay and play. Aside from the marriage, forget about that. I just wonder if he.
Well for Eric Thomas this year.
What was that?
Things have not gone well for Eric Thomas this year, for once.
No.
He's
no.
In addition to
that's because his devil contract is up.
That's what I think too.
He signed a deal with the devil. The contract's up. Losing his wife, losing his career, not going to go there.
Losing everything.
You should have ended when he had the Super Bowl. Boom, done. Don't come back. You went on a high note.
Yeah. This isn't what he expected. He ain't going out on a high note this year.
So he's going to have to come back so he can go out on a high note, because he doesn't want to go out on a low note. So he's going to be back next year because
if he loves playing and he don't got a family to go home to, might as well hit the road. Might as well stay
But he looks better. At the beginning of the season, no one was talking about it. How gaunt he looked, how thin his face was. He looked terrible. I'm like, is he sick? And then now in the last couple of weeks, he's starting to look fuller in the face again. And I'm like, okay, because and no one mentioned it. And now that he's fuller in the face, they're mentioning it now on like talk shows. Yeah, he wasn't looking, right. And I'm like, why didn't you say that when he wasn't looking right? But
Right.
he didn't look healthy
Then,
at the beginning of the season at all.
no, they're no. So let's do a quick rundown. Let's see what we got this week as far as games. Let's see what we got here. So Remy, what's your take on the Thursday night game, the New Orleans, Arizona?
I'm gonna take that's a tough one with D Hop coming back. He's gonna get a lot. For gamblers, I'd be taking him on my team. He's gonna get a lot of targets, probably almost all of them, depending on what shape he is in. And they're playing in Arizona.
And New Orleans lost to Cincinnati 30-26 at home. And I think Cincinnati's a better team than Arizona.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with New Orleans on the road on that one. So then we move down to Atlanta, Cincinnati. We'll just run through everything. Atlanta, Cincinnati. Atlanta play. What went on with the Giants? The San Francisco, the 49ers. What? I am like that team. It has a good week, a bad week, a good week, a bad week.
Their defense is hurt. Half their defense is out, and it's like that for some reason. There's something about San Francisco. Their defense cannot stay healthy at the beginning, and then they have to play pickup and comeback at the end of the season to get there. It's just they don't have a defense right now.
Right. So that means, let's see, Kansas City. Oh, I'm trying to get up there. There it is. So Kansas City, I would, if that's going to happen, they're going to take San Francisco. Kansas City is the better team.
Yeah.
Over San Francisco.
Yeah.
So, all right, Detroit, Dallas. Dallas lost to Philly, the best team in the league right now. But Detroit is a horror show again. They are just every year they turn into a horror show. What did they do last week? Did they have a bye last week?
Yeah,
they might have a bye.
They did, but the week before, I think they got creamed by somebody.
Yeah,
no, that was a shootout with Seattle the week before, and they
Detroit?
just lost at the end. Yeah, it was like
they had one where they were skunked, though. They had one where they zipped. I can't remember.
Yeah,
what it was. Their defense has been terrible.
I think that was Minnesota, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with Dallas on that, no matter who their quarterback is. So
it's gonna be Dak. Dak is back.
Dak is back. He better win that game because I'm not a big Dak fan. I think he's overrated, but we'll see what happens.
They'll win the game if they keep the same plays. Don't go ahead and change what you was working with the other guy. If you put it all on his shoulders, if that's what it worked with the other guy, do the same thing with Dak and see how it works.
Right. Just keep the same. If you're winning with those plays, keep the same plays, and Dak shouldn't mess around with the offense. So then we go down to Indianapolis and Tennessee. Any thoughts on?
I think Tennessee. They always play hard. These games hard. They always play each other hard, but I think Tennessee. I think they had a bye last week too, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Indy's won a couple of close ones. I don't know. Yeah. Indianapolis.
I might, Indianapolis. I think they've had an up and down season also. So that's a fun. I would Indianapolis. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking Indianapolis. Matt Ryan seems to have finally found a couple of receivers at Indianapolis, and they hit. I think Pierce, the kid out of Cincinnati, he's looking pretty good, and I think Pittman's the other one. But he seems to finally found his mojo when they're connecting a little bit. So, and that was the biggest one, was he didn't have. It was the same thing with. He looked like Aaron Rodgers. There was just nobody open when he'd go back to pass.
Right. Remy, you got a thought on that one? You got a pick?
I picked Tennessee.
All righty, going with that one. Green Bay, Washington.
I'm going to take Green Bay. I don't think you're going to lose 3 in a row. Not with Rodgers,
Right.
not with 12. Not with 12 there.
Yeah,
And Carson Wentz is hurt.
right. Yeah, Taylor.
Might be a good thing. Their backup might be better.
Heineke, right?
Heineke is the starter.
What do you think he's better than Wentz or what?
He was doing well. I just think it's a shit show. DC is that whole organization is a nightmare. The guy needs to be out of football.
Yeah.
He's just a distraction. He is the 13th man on the team, and it's just not a good organization at all. And it hasn't been since he's been the owner.
Right.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Ron Rivera because he's a nice guy, but
he's
not playing well. They're just not responding to him. You know, and they have on that team. You know,
right.
They have talented guys, so I can see Ron Rivera being fired. But
from Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What's his face isn't allowed to make any decisions.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like Jerry Jones.
But I think we got a sweep on Green Bay there. Tampa Bay, Carolina. So Tampa Bay lost to what I consider the worst team in the league, Pittsburgh. So
Carolina doesn't have a quarterback, so
Carolina is horrible.
Yeah, they're just the guy that used to coach the Cardinals for a year, Steve Wilkes. He's a nice guy, but he's overwhelmed as head coach. They're just one of the things he can't do is make adjustments at halftime. I mean, they stick with the same game plan, and they get killed. You know, they when he was with the Cardinals, he could never make adjustments at halftime,
and that's so important. That halftime adjustment is just so important.
Yeah, you gotta figure it out. But he is better than I think Matt Rule was. So that whole franchise, they're up there with the Washington for worst franchise.
Is Mayfield hurt? Is he hurt or?
Yeah, he's in a boot. He's in a walking boot.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
So who do they got? What high school player do they got? Quarterback.
I forget who the third string guy is. Webb. Is it Webb?
Oh boy! So they're in trouble. So Tampa Bay could finally squeak one out and score and win like 10-3
to beat them. So.
Right. All right. Well, we're back to Giants in Jacksonville. I know Remy's going with the Giants.
I don't ever pick my team. I never pick on my team, so I'm gonna call blank on that. I'm not gonna pick anything.
You don't want to have any.
I don't want to put the jinx on it.
Right. Tim, what do you think?
I like the way Daboll's. Well, I'm a Bills guy, so I like the way Daboll's got him playing, especially Daniel Jones. I don't think he's the next Josh Allen, but I think he's got him playing above his skill level. In fact, I'll be surprised if they don't draft a quarterback in this year's draft. But they got too much talent. Also, good news for you, Remy. Kayvon Thibodeau is really starting to play great, and
he's amazing.
He was the killer at Oregon. I mean, he was amazing at Oregon. He just ruled the Pac-12, so he's starting to show that same thing.
Yeah,
and I can picture him having a field day with the Carolina quarterback.
Well, I got to say I'm going to go with Jacksonville on that one. I want the Giants, but I just find that they're ready to be disappointing. That's because they're the Giants. That's how I look at it. So Cleveland at Baltimore. I'm going to go with the Ravens and think they're stronger than Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to lose 3 in a row.
And I think Lamar Jackson is still better than Brissett or anything. A bad Lamar Jackson is better than whatever Cleveland is.
Yeah.
Right. Cleveland just so Jets Denver. What do you think of that one?
I'm thinking Jets.
I do too. Yes.
Brees kid they drafted really well. They're young. They're 1 year ahead of their time, but that Brees and the Sauce Gardner. I mean, those guys are incredible, and I love their coach, and their coach is.
Denver just looks so bad. Aside from that
bad. They look so bad.
Early on with Russell Wilson, they just look.
Right. I had the Jets over Green Bay. I picked them in my pool. I just thought the Jets they're just playing strong. I think they had one bad game where they lost. But Green Bay is playing, their offense is weak, and the Jets just were strong. So I took them, and I think that they could repeat over Denver. Denver, like you said, they don't look good. They're sloppy. They don't
Well,
look good. They're 3-and-out, and Russell Wilson's not hitting
They're not
guys. And
doing they're not letting Russell Wilson run.
right.
I mean, that's great when Rodgers your quarterback. He's not a runner. Wilson's a
he
runner.
doesn't even look happy. I watch him, and look at his face, and he's like, it's like he doesn't want to be there. It seems like.
Yeah.
He's just not. He's not into the game mentally. That's what he looks like.
Well, the expectations too. They hyped him up in the preseason and were like, "We're one player away from the Super Bowl," and it's like, I remember telling my wife that team is not that good. I mean, they're not.
Right.
They don't have, aside from Judy, they don't have elite wide receivers. Their backs are pretty good, but they don't have it. Their line has always been mediocre. So
Right.
it's like they're not one player away from the Super Bowl.
Can you tell me this? What is up with these guys that don't know how to draft O-line? Like whenever we have the shitty teams have no O-lines, and no one seems to think that's an important part to draft. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like that's the key. The Cardinals are like that. They've got all these guys that are on the high side of 30, and they're getting, and Keim, the general manager, keeps signing these guys, and I don't think there's one of them that's made it through a full season. You sign an offensive lineman that's 30 plus, the odds of him making through the whole season are low.
Yeah,
they're just not. It's not that good.
I mean, you don't have an O-line, which get your quarterback crushed, doesn't give you holes for your running back.
Right.
You can't have a running game where your quarterback can have a little leeway to throw to the. It's just they're important. Like
your defense isn't on the field when you have that good running. You control time of possession, and you're not there. It's like, and your defense is rested. That's what's killing the Cardinals right now. The defense on the Cardinals actually has played pretty well. In fact, I think if they fire Kingsbury, Vance Joseph will be the head coach. But you can't have your defense playing the whole game. They get tired, and that's when you see it with the Chiefs especially. They just, they prey on that at the end when the defense is on the field all the time.
Mm-hmm. So let's see what else we got here in the game. Here we go. I'm going with Jets on that. Houston, Las Vegas. I have no idea that one.
I'm taking Vegas. They had their bye week. They're gonna get on smart. They should have. Vegas should be like 3-2. They shouldn't be 4.
Yeah, and it seems like they're finally connecting with Derek Carr is finally connecting with the receiver. So I would go. They've got better talent than Houston. So
their defense is way better than it's showing up. It's like blowing leads. They've been winning games, and then the defense is blowing leads. And I'm like, what is happening? I mean, you got Crosby, you got that. I mean, you have a great defense. Why are you blowing leads?
Right. Yeah, they give.
And then that puts Carr in a situation where he makes that dumb play where it's an interception or a fumble or something happens, and then they end up losing the game. Like they should have beat Kansas City.
Yeah.
They had that game.
Yep.
Right, and then they blow it. So that sways me to Las Vegas then. Okay, Seattle Chargers. I don't know. I don't think they looked great yesterday.
They didn't.
They
don't have no line either.
Oh, poor guy.
They did
That's
win.
what I meant when I was watching that game last night, and I saw that. That's what made me think about these guys they're looking at people just running at them. This is like you're the quarterback, and then you got like all these people you're facing, and then and that's what. So they're playing Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle beat Arizona. Seattle beat your car. Huh?
Gino's looking good.
He's not bad. And in fact, I was my son-in-law, who's is in Scotland, but he's a big Seahawks fan because they lived in Seattle. I told them that trade is looking brilliant now. That the Russell Wilson trade is looking.
Right.
They have the first and second round pick of Denver next year, and if Denver keeps tanking, that could turn into a number 5 draft pick or higher. So
Right.
that has turned into a brilliant trade, and you got to give Pete Carroll some kudos. In fact, in a lot of ways, but Pete Carroll, in terms of Coach of the Year, he might be a candidate because nobody expected them to do anything.
Yeah.
And they're not great, but they're looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So okay, so what do you think of that one? Who are you going to go with? I think I think I might sway to the Chargers just because they're playing at home, and they score more than these other teams that Seattle's playing. So I think I might go with the Chargers there. What do you think, Tim? Where are you going?
They were so gutsy, and it reminded me of that Rudy film. The kicker. I don't know if you saw it, the poor kicker.
Right.
Every time he kicked, he fell down because his was killing him to make the kick, and he made it. That was like sports inspiration. You could have made a movie about that.
Wait, was that the game? Where was the game? The guy kicked the 62-yarder. What game was that one? Someone kicked a record field goal yesterday, I thought. I mean, on Sunday, maybe. I forgot what game it was, but then he missed a 40-something yarder, and I think they might have lost the game.
No, the guy from the Chargers, every time he kicked, he literally fell down from the pain.
Right.
So that was pretty. So I think in terms of them being gutsy, and Brandon Staley he pumps that whole kind of philosophy. So I would go with the Chargers. I think they might, not guts alone, but it's primarily guts.
Right. So I may go for the Chargers. Remy, who would you pick on that one?
Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers.
Yeah. Kansas City and the 49ers. I just don't like the 49ers, and I'm not crazy about Kansas City, but I think they're the better team of the two.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Remy, thoughts?
I'm going to go with, I don't know. Those are the games that Garoppolo gets up for. I don't think it'll be a blowout. And they're home.
Definitely won't be a blowout. I don't think Kansas City's capable of it.
2 weeks on the wet East Coast. So,
right.
Them losing last week, I think they should have stayed on. I don't know if they stayed on the East Coast. I don't think they did. They should have stayed there on the East Coast instead of going back and forth. Remember my little thing where I said when the West Coast to the East, they usually lose. That didn't happen that 1 week. Two teams out of the one. But last week it happened. The teams that flew across lost.
Well,
I'll go with Kansas City. They're not going to lose.
I think Kansas City.
Yeah, I'd have a little too much talent. And then, in fact, like Remy said, the 49ers defense is hurting. So
that's what I'm going to go with. And then Pittsburgh, Miami.
Miami, too, is better.
Yeah, I kind of lean towards Tua having a big comeback game. In Pittsburgh, just aside from last Sunday, their line is just so terrible.
They're terrible, and Tampa Bay is really terrible. They're not even a good team. They're really not a good team this year. So I think we're all in Miami. Chicago, New England, Monday night. I think we touched on this one.
Bears to get zapped.
Yep.
New England, and I don't even know why they slated this game for prime time.
Yeah.
The Bears have no business being on prime time until they
learn.
None. That's where players get drafted to die. Like, they have ruined more players than any team I have ever known in my life.
Chicago?
Yeah, they just ruin players. It's like the Knicks in basketball. They just go there to die. It's like you get talent and you don't use them right, or you screw them up somehow. And they've screwed up this kid. He's screwed up. Right.
The poor guy, he doesn't even get a chance. So, all righty. Well, that was what would have been a good Monday night game? Would have been Kansas City, San Francisco would have been a good Monday night game. Not great teams, but a good game. Giants Jacksonville would have been a good Monday night game. I think that's going to be a good game.
Actually,
And
I'd say Atlanta, Cincinnati, because Atlanta's really surprised people.
right.
Yeah. They got Dalton now as their quarterback. And
yeah.
That Taysom Hill, he's a freak. He's amazing. He doesn't get enough credit.
Jason Hill is.
Taysom Hill plays for the
Falcons.
No, for New Orleans.
Oh no.
That's who.
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah.
Sean Payton wanted him to be the quarterback, and then they went and took.
Yeah,
that'll be a good Thursday night game. It's like that'll be a good Thursday night week game. That's a good game. So yeah, some good games. There's going to be some good this weekend.
Thursday night games have just been boring and terrible.
Oh yeah.
It's like right. I don't think the world wants Thursday night games. They have not yet had, except for the last year that NFL Network had them, were good games. And then since they lost it, now they haven't been that good.
No, I don't know if they expected them to be this bad, but
yeah, since Amazon took over too, I really don't like that 6 commentators thing that they have at halftime. It's like too many people on stage.
Well, it's an NBC show, but it's just I don't like the show too much, And did you watch the game where they were in replay when Justin Fields threw that touchdown? Yeah, that was unbelievable. Did you see that? They went to replay, they made a bad cut, and all of a sudden they come out of it, and the ball is landing in the guy's hands in the end zone on a bomb.
Yeah.
So they missed the play. That was the one, So, well, thank you guys for coming on, Tim. It was great to see you. You were a definite addition.
Yeah.
I hope you're able to, join us when you're not out performing for the world. So that would be nice.
Yeah. I'm doing stand up too, so that's always fun.
Oh, you know what? Throw some jokes our way. Throw some jokes our way.
Yeah, we have to do some jokes next time.
Mine is more like it's more observational comedy.
That's right. But, a little George Carlin-ish, right?
Right. Before he got real dark, yeah. Mine. I do it. It's kind of funny. I do it at a gay, lesbian, trans bar, which is kind of funny.
That's got to be interesting. I love gay characters. They're so funny.
Well, it's great. It's a great audience. They're funny. I mean, I told them, I said, I'm a 69-year-old straight guy who's been married for 42 years. I have nothing in common with anybody at this bar.
Right. I don't know. Gay marriage is fine with me. It's straight people who shouldn't get married.
Yeah.
They're the ones that screw everything up. So,
Remy.
Thanks for coming on. Remy's got a birthday coming up next week.
All right.
So, an early happy birthday to Remy.
Yeah. Thank you.
And maybe depending on what night we go next week. So, alrighty, all. Thank you again, and let me see what we're gonna do here. Okay, I'm gonna say goodnight to them. And Remy and Tim they were just so much fun tonight. Tim was great. His insight is fantastic. Remy's insight is always fantastic, and we hope Tim joins us again. And everybody, thank you for coming out. Have a great week. I hope you do good on your football pools. I hope we gave you some insight into some things. And I know they did. They gave me some insight. I missed my pool by one game. And I would have won the pool because I had 36 points on the game yesterday for the tiebreaker. I would have won that one. So Jacksonville killed me, and Kansas City, I just needed one of them to win, and they both destroyed me and knocked me out by a game. So, all right, everybody, I will see you next week. Hopefully they'll be on too, and have yourself a great day.